A very good evening and welcome to another exciting edition of Big Talk on Global Television. My name is Ubong Osoro, and today we have lots of political discussions we want to have, gearing towards making Nigeria better. Like I say every day, Nigeria belongs to all of us, and we must find a way to make sure that this country gets better. Today, we have somebody who's going to be helping us talk about the youth and how youth can impact leadership, especially in our country. But before I introduce the guests we have in the studio, let's go check some of the political discussions, the perspectives of some Nigerians concerning some trending topics on social media. Like I do every day when I come on the show, I highlight these topics and show you and also bring to your awareness what you think about some of these issues. Let's look at some of the issues we have. We have a story that says that the North has no regrets voting President Tinubu. The Minister of National Planning, Senator Atiku Bagudu, says that the North has no reason to regret its support for President Bola Tinubu, saying the region is adequately represented and involved in the current administration. This is coming from a lot of backlash. Remember, a former Kano State Governor, Kwankwaso, coming out to say that the North has not benefited enough from this government. And we've had several persons, but now people from the North are coming to say, come on, President Tinubu has been so good to the North. Let's see what Nigerians think about this particular topic. Alhaji Umar Ishmael says, which of the North? Maybe KB, but not Northern Nigeria. Okay, that's your own perspective. That's what Alhaji Umar Ishmael think about Bagudu saying that the North has actually benefited from the presidency of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Remember that the presidency had to now draw out all of the projects in Nigeria and put out at about 53% of Bola Tinubu's project, according to the presidency, is located in the North. Okay, let's take another comment now. Ernest Igo Dan Jumbo says, and that's as long as you are a beneficiary. I think you should rather rephrase your statement. You and your family have no regrets supporting Bola Tinubu, period. Any other comments that we're lighting at this moment? Bibele says, trying to observe table manners. Remember, when people are eating, they don't talk while eating. Let's take another story now. Talking about ethnic bigotry. Ibokwe, who was a commissioner and a special advisor in Lagos State, came out today to raise an alarm about the rate of ethnic bigotry in Nigeria, and says, he wrote, "Good morning, Nigerians. Ethnic bigotry is actually growing hopelessness like wildfire in Nigeria, and our eyes are not open to see the danger. I pray that the veil covering our eyes will be removed so that we can clearly see, make we they play." I think he highlighted something that I think for me it's very important, because we get to see this a lot now, especially with the renaming of some streets in Lagos State. A lot of people have taken that renaming to ethnic conversations around about the bus stop that was renamed from Charlie Boy bus stop to Bado bus stop. And Ibokwe had to talk about this. This is something Nigerians must actually see. Let's see what some Nigerians think about this story. Olede Olumuyiwa says, when Obi removed all non-Anambrians from Anambra Civil Service, it wasn't ethnic bigotry. When Theodoji removed non-Abians from civil service, including Ebonyi people who were part of Abia State, and those women who got married to Abia men, it wasn't bigotry. I think maybe he has facts to that, but he came out to also highlight something which he thinks, but I don't think that's his opinion, right? Maybe for him it balances the conversation. I don't really have an opinion in this matter, but it's good that we actually get to highlight this. Okay. Also, we had a big news today, because I'm trying to fast track this conversation so we get to the guests in the studio. A story about the Labour Party youth leader who actually came out today to say that he will be contesting for presidency in 2027. And we've spoken, and one of these days he's going to be in the studio too. So we'll have lots of conversation concerning this. So the national youth leader of the Labour Party, Kennedy Ahanoto, has declared his intention to contest for the 2027 presidential election, becoming the first aspirant in the party to openly join the race. Remember that former President Muhammadu Buhari, late former president, signed into law the not too young to rule. So, of course, Kennedy Kennedy Ahanaotuo has the legal backing to run for presidency, and he has chosen to run in the Labour Party, and is coming out 2 years to the time to say, come on guys, I am ready. Let's see what Nigerians think about this. Comrade Sunday Okechukwu says he thinks Tinubu will notice every aspirant and give them money to step down for him. See joke of the month. I like one other comment. Any other comments from any other Nigeria? Peter Obi came to make Labour Party popular. They couldn't manage the fame. We now have two Labour Party, too bad. Then the last story I'll take for you tonight that I tracked for you says no local government under bandits. So Governor Mufwang of Plateau State has actually come out to say that no local government in Plateau is under bandits at the time. And let's highlight maybe just two comments of what Nigerians think about this particular story. All right, so wow, Moga says he's telling lies. In Kana local government area of Kana district, there's a place under bandits' control. We don't expect judgment from this governor in Ghana district because people continue to lose their life. Farmers can't go to farm. Women are kidnapped. One other from one night, somebody's pointing out a local government saying, Mr. Governor, if you say there's no local government under attack or control of bandits, Ghana local government, can we take one more? All right, so KFAS, Juwakwe says, that's not true, Mr. Governor. Parts of Buku's local government are occupied by bandits and Fulani terrorists. So we just had to highlight some of the trending political discussions for you tonight. So let's get back to the studio now, where we have joining us to help make sense of the discussion. We have Clement, youth leader of Akwa Ibom community in Abuja. A very good evening to you.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so let's talk about the political conversation in Nigeria gearing towards 2027. A lot of people are already canvassing towards getting power in 2027. And in all of this, as a youth leader, what is the place of youth in the formation of Nigeria? Because we used to hear people say youth are the leaders of tomorrow. And it seems that tomorrow never comes because we keep seeing the same leaders we had 50 years ago, 25 years ago, keep wanting to be leaders. The front runners that we have in the political equation at the moment, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, well over, can you really say is a youth? We have people like Amechi, our former governor of Rivers State, and even the current president. So where is the place of the youth in the leadership of Nigeria?
Actually, the youths are a very sensitive part of the government, of every nation. Without the youth angle of the nation will remain inactive. And then, let us put it clear that power is not served a la carte. So the youth must work for what they want, must put in their best to become who they want to become for the country. And if you look at it globally, any government that articulates the activities of the youth and make the youth part of the government is always a successful government. So the youths are ready, the youths are prepared. Gone are the days when the youths were tagged leaders of tomorrow. The youths are leaders of today. Because the youths we know are prepared, they are ready, they are available, they are accessible, and they are here to take their place in the government of the country.
All right, so one of the things that critics of youth in government try to quickly highlight is that we've had some youth that have been immersed in corrupt practices, and sometimes we get to ask questions, are the youth better leaders than those who are already leading? Or because, for instance, a former Kogi State governor became the youngest governor in Nigeria. Yes, he have allegations of embezzlement around him and all of that as a young person. And we have other examples of young persons. So apart from youth advocating to be in governance, to be in power, are youth able to lead well and not get carried away by power and leading to embezzlement and crisis?
Good. I know a former president of America said, a time will come when human beings will not be judged according to skin colors, but according to content of character. Maybe some youths have failed, but not all the youths have failed. Now, let me take you to memory lane a little. Right Honorable Onofre for Akwa Ibom State. He was the Speaker of Akwa Ibom State House Assembly for years, and he never faltered. The recent one that resigned from the government, Honorable Inemebo Osien, who had served as the PDP publicity secretary. From there, he graduated into the Commissioner for Information, and he served that office for years tenaciously, dedicatedly, painstakingly, without fault. He was also given another opportunity to serve as the Commissioner Special Duties and Ibom Seaport, not until the governor moved to APC and he resigned. Those are some of the youths who have stood themselves out, and there are more other youths who are like that, ready, energetic, principled. Even when they see a lot of money around the system, they don't play with government money.
All right. So
even though some other youths have failed us, but we cannot put all of that and put all the youths in one basket. Some youths are distinguished, while some may not be. Why some are not distinguished is that as they come into the system with the mentality of I have a godfather, there's a tendency of a derail.
Right. So I was actually going to get to the question around godfatherism and recommendations and putting people in political offices, how it affects the ability of youth to deliver. Let's talk about this, where merit seems to be sacrificed on the altar of selection. How does it affect youth to get involved? Because some youths I've spoken to have even talked about, no, we don't want to get involved because the system is too corrupt and all of that. Let's talk about, as a youth leader, what are the challenges that youth are facing in getting into political offices?
Godfatherism is a factor that has bedeviled this country. So long as one comes with the mentality of I have a godfather, there's a tendency that that leader will not lead well. Because as soon as you assume office as the leader, you are conditioned by your godfather, who tells you what to do, who directs you, and you can't take a step if you don't consult him. So I don't believe in godfatherism. In the community I am leading, I believe in people coming together. I believe in service. I believe in delivery. I believe in transparency. And I believe in making sure that my tenure of office is beneficial to all and sundry, so long as the youth is concerned.
Yeah. Okay. So another question about youth getting involved in activity is the issue of funding, because some youths want to get into political offices, and you need to buy forms, you need to do consultation, you need to a lot of funding. So in a country where unemployment seems to be rising and the income level seems to be dwindling, how have you thought about the processes where youth are able to raise funds to buy political forms? Let me even remind you now that the last elections, the APC, the All Progressive Congress, sold their presidential form for about 100 million. How many young people are able to raise that money to be able to even buy a form to contest for offices? So have you thought about conversation around that? Sir?
Yeah, we many times we have. The elites in the country and the politicians, the top politicians have made the Nigerian political space a cutthroat arrangement. That it makes it difficult for youths to come into break-in and begin to play along with them, to also have a space. Let's go back to 2019. How many youths in the country were able to afford forms from political parties? Apart from the forms, you now go for consultations, you now go for rallies, you now go for campaigns. Where do youths who don't even have jobs, who don't even have well-paid jobs, where would they get the money to put themselves together to even get a form? Meanwhile, these are the people who are ready, who are accessible, who are cerebral enough. But in the absence of money, to buy forms, to go for campaigns, to go for consultations and the likes, it makes the youth drop back. Because without funds, you can't do anything. Without funds, nothing can be done in politics. So politics in Nigeria, as we speak, has become a cutthroat politics and arrangements.
All right, so let's also look at the issue where people complain that when it comes to political racketeering, ballot box snatching, they are quick to point out the fact that you won't see old men, you won't see our politicians, go on the streets to snatch ballot boxes and shoot guns during elections, and most times that the youth that engage in these practices. Have you thought about how you could engage with those segments of youth so maybe you guys come together, or can something actually be done around that?
Cool, thank you. You know, when we went for the 2019 elections, we left Abuja en masse. Akwa Ibomites left Abuja en masse to Akwa Ibom to perform our civic responsibility. Before we departed Abuja for Akwa Ibom, we assembled all of us, and it has been time and again that the youths are the machineries to sabotage elections. But we come together and we came together and said, no, this must not be registered again. So long as we are from Abuja front going to Akwa Ibom to cast our votes, we must be orderly, we must be responsible, we must be civic. And we said, no youths from us should be registered that are tampered with the ballot boxes, that are tampered with the electronic process, that are tampered with whatsoever process the government had put in place for the smooth running of elections. So enlightenment is the key. You enlighten the youth. Number one, if they are involved in malpractices, snatching of boxes and the likes, vices that will trample the electoral processes, if they are caught by the government, you face the law alone. And at that time, people that sponsored you might not be there for you. No matter how you call their names, they won't identify with you. So we told them. So the number we went to, the polling booths we covered, and we knew that none of us, because we had the proper education, proper enlightenment, none of us misbehaved. And we came back complete and we said, yes, this is the right way to go. So we had laid that foundation that youths are not supposed to be used as machineries to alter elections. It starts with the mind. Ballots, not bullets.
All right, so I'd like to now come back to the community where you are leading Abuja as the youth leader. Tell us about how you are able to, sensitize the youth, because maybe there are many persons from your community that may not even know about it. From the youth circle, is that something you are doing to bring the youth? Like we talked about enlightenment. What are the programs that you are doing? Are you going to school? I remember when we used to say Catch Them Young initiative, we get to schools. What are some of the programs that you are doing so that this enlightenment, like you mentioned, will get to the youth on time?
You know, the youth wing of Akwa Ibom Community Abuja is a compendium of talents. A greater number of them are educated. Some are, artisans doing one or two things to put their lives together and make ends meet. When I came on board and inherited this club of people, I said, good, I have a focus. What we do is, before we start a particular government, we go on seminars to train the executives coming into office. And when we are done with the executives, we now go to the membership in its entirety. We call everybody together on the same table. And we say, this is the way to go. And we make trainings available. We organize picnics. There are so many people, when you mention trainings or seminars, they shy away. But when you call it picnic, it brings everybody together. That's maybe they're going to enjoy themselves. In the midst of that enjoyment and celebrations, we send the message that we have come not to eat and drink and go away, but to have education, to have enlightenment, to sensitize the public that Akwa Ibomites are in Abuja, not only doing what they are doing in Abuja, but they are trying to articulate and ensure that we have a peaceful coexistence of all of us in Abuja and the 19 northern states.
Right.
So time to time we come together, we joke, we play, we have our meetings, then we have a space to educate ourselves,
right,
so that we can see ourselves at the top.
Yeah, there are issues about cultism. There are issues about vices that the youth are involved in. And some political office holders exploit these deficiencies in the youth. What are you thinking about making sure that we don't have inter-ethnic clashes where we see once in a while, and even issues around cultism, both here and maybe in the state? Or are you just concerned about the youth in Abuja? Do you think about Because yeah, is there something you are doing about unemployment?
Very well, very well. It is one of our cardinal responsibility to ensure that if we cannot eradicate, reduce unemployment within the youth angle. So what do? Like in my itinerary for the next 4 years to come, what we have drawn to do that will benefit the youth is, number one, to help them go through trainings within the country or outside the country. Like I am an agronomist. I have scheduled it that we have to go to research institutes and consult the members of the National Assembly. And we recommend youths to be trained. Agric is in vogue. We train them, they come out, we establish them. They have a job, they employ others, they make food available, and life goes on.
Right. So
apart from that, in the ICT, we also intend to send them to Israel and the likes. And when they come back, it's a plus for us. It is an advantage to us. Because they will not be looking for jobs for them. They will be employing others into the sector to work for them, and they pay them. And everybody will go home happy.
Yeah. So, our topic now, Nigeria's political evolution, the role of the youth in public leadership. So far, at least since the start of democracy in 1999, what's been the role of youth in Nigeria's political evolution?
The youths have played a very vital role, or vital roles. You know, most of the ideas the politicians use to come into office, to celebrate themselves as achievers in the office, come from the youths. Normally they come from the youths. For instance, before now, we did not have digital adverts. It is the youths that arranged this. Before now, we never had banners on the streets. Before now, we never had rallies. In count 5 rallies, out of that 5, 4 of those rallies are dominated by the youths. The youths play a vital role in whatever happens to the government. In every sector of the government, the youths are involved. The banking sector, the agricultural sector, name them. What the youths put in cannot be measured. But the only difference is that when the youths put in this, they are not awarded according to the energy they bring to the table.
Yeah.
That's why
we'll talk about the reward.
Some youths feel relaxed and say, after all, the ones we did, what have we benefited or what have we gained?
Yeah, we'll talk about the reward and all of that. Remember that we had a party. We have some parties called Young People's Party, YPP. And I was thinking that this party is going to be adopted by young people, with so much energy. But we keep... it seems that the young people abandon even the young people.
Let me ask you.
Because you have the population. Young people have the population. You have over 60%, according to my data, over 60% of Nigerians are young people. You have the energy to lead a change. If people don't call for a revolution, not a revolution, but at least a change, maybe using the ballot to effect a change. So why is it that with the population of the youth we have in Nigeria, there's been no conscious efforts to bring out a youthful candidate and project the candidate against all odds? What are the factors stopping that?
It goes back to the cost of politics. Now, in the last election, even in the YPP, the Young Progressive Party, how many youths contested under that party? In Akwa Ibom, it was not the youth that contested for governorship under that party. It goes back to tell you that the youths cannot still afford the cost of forms, nomination forms, to even start elections. Now, if they cannot afford the cost of forms, how will they contest elections? Now, if they cannot contest elections, they now look for other parties to add themselves to attach themselves. They become addendum to other parties. And when they become addendums, what they do, they drag them and they give them peanuts and they begin to work for the party. So if the youths are better placed, are better educated, and they have a platform that gives them what they want, then the youths will come in. Labour Party even made a name. That some youths came to Labour Party. And they are still doing their jobs. So youths at every point in time, they need a special platform that will put them there, that will elevate them and give them the free working space.
All right, there are issues about people wanting people to give them platform, and people have also had conversation around people that took over leadership when they were younger in Nigeria. They didn't wait for platforms; they went after platform. With the number that Nigerian youth have, is it fair to still wait for platform when they could go out and get platforms for themselves if they are better organized? So maybe you talk about or organization of the youth. And what are the factors? Maybe ethnicity, is it a challenge, a religious crisis? And
let me come in there.
yeah.
You know, the youths would have been a bundle of people coming together to fight the menace of the society. But anytime they make an attempt to come together, something happens. The revolution that happened, the youths were actively involved. What happened? They were divided, like you said, ethnicity, religion, and the likes.
Which of the revolution? The NSAS?
Yes. You know, when it started, it was fierce. But at some point, some started to say, no, you are not from where I come from, and they started having divergent attention. And when there is a distraction, that camp is empty. So if at every point in time, they used to take away ethnicity, take away religion, take away extremism and the likes, they can forge ahead, they can foster. But every attempt they make, let me tell you what will happen tomorrow. If there is any protest by the youths, as we speak, maybe from Gwagwalada, and they're coming to Aso Rock, for instance, before they get to City Gates, there will be another gang of youths coming to oppose that movement. Who caused it? It is the elites.
All right, so
as
we try to wind down the conversation now, so where is the place of the Nigerian youth in all of this, where we have, the Nigerian youth seems to be so easy to break in between and, cause mayhem? Where is the place of the Nigerian youth, and where is the future of the Nigerian youth?
The future is in our hands. That's why we advocate every day. Whenever we have opportunities, we educate. Education and enlightenment matters. If you continue to wait, if you continue to be used, if you continue to see yourself as an item that can be used and dropped, then we're not making any effort. What we do is we see how to talk to youths, we see how to make them see the other side of the coin. That you cannot remain an item that can be used and dumped or be given peanuts at the end of the day. It is time we rise up. We step up our game,
right,
and see how to put ourselves in the proper perspective and wait for the opportunity. Like I said, power is never served a la carte. You work for it. Like the scripture says, study to show yourself approved.
Right.
So when we are ready, when we are good and the opportunity comes, when preparation meets opportunity, breakthrough occurs. The youth needs to be prepared, needs to wait for that opportunity and then pick the opportunity.
Thank you so much. Mr. Clement, who is the youth leader of the Akwa Ibom community in Abuja. Thank you so much for coming on the show tonight.
Thank you.
And people, let's go for a short break. And when we're back, we'll get into the next segments of the program. Welcome back, and we're still having a conversation in the studio. This is Big Talk. My name is Ubong Usoro. We just finished talking to the chairman, the youth leader of Akwa Ibom community in Abuja, Clement, talking about Nigerian political evolution and the role of the youth in public leadership. So the next discussion that we'll be having tonight, we are going to be talking about politicking for 2027. It seems politics has already started. Of course, politicians are always thinking politics. And we're talking about the ANPP block of APC places demand on President Tinubu, and with me in the studio to help us make sense of this discussion is Professor Vitalis Ajumbe. I actually had to learn the pronunciation before now. A former Imo State Commissioner for Information, Tourism and Public Utilities, and also an APC chieftain. Very good evening to you, Prof.
Good evening too.
All right, so, but before I come back to him in the studio, there's a report my colleague did about a press statement that was released by Prof and people in his organization. Let's listen to that report before I get to ask Prof questions in the studio.
The All Nigerian People's Party, which is now a major bloc within the ruling All Progressive Congress, APC, is calling on President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to ensure that the vice presidential slot is reserved for the ANPP bloc when the party fields its candidate for the 2027 presidential election. The coordinator of the party, Vitalis Ajumbe, emphasized that the move will reaffirm the significance of political inclusion and uphold the spirit of equity and power sharing within the APC coalition.
Vice presidential seat. The Association of the former NPP members hereby calls on our president, Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu, to ensure that the vice presidential seat is made sacrosanct.
He added that preserving the vice presidents for the ANPP bloc will not only strengthen internal democracy, but also maintain balance among the party's legacy group. The ANPP is one of the three legacy parties that merged to form the APC in 2013. With political realignment already taking shape across the country, this latest demand is expected to stir fresh conversation within the ruling party. Kike Lomo Okeri, Global Television.
All right, so my colleague Kike actually did that report. So we have Prof in the studio to help us make sense of the discussion. Prof, this is a conversation around we need these things were not properly shared. Can you walk us through when the APC, when you had the major, you were at the forefront of that negotiations and conversation? What were the themes of the conversation? Was it that the CPC bloc had the presidency, Muhammadu Buhari, 8 years, the ACN bloc, Bola Tinubu, maybe may do 8 years? What was the conversation around ANPP? What was the negotiation about?
Yeah, the negotiations there then was to share party positions equitably. Just like you are a shareholder in a company. Those who have the highest share normally gets the higher dividend. And ANPP was the second largest. We came into the merger.
Larger than the CPC?
CPC came in with one governor, Nasarawa State, Amakura. They occupied one state. ANPP occupied 3 states, Yobe State, Borno State, and Zamfara State. ACN came in with 6 states. So as you can see, ANPP is the second. And just as I said, sharing of dividends is according to your investment or the number of shares you bought. And we started the merger. ANPP initiated the merger. It wasn't SCN, it wasn't CPC. At the time, it started in...
ANPP started the merger that led to the APC today.
Yes. Our then national chairman, Ebono, started it, formed a committee. One of the top members of the... I think it was led by the chairman, the then national legal advisor, Barrister Fega. Fega is from Kano State. Unfortunately, nobody remembers him. And we set up, the committee went to Kaduna to meet with President Buhari. because then he was the leader of CPC. They didn't show interest in joining. 2010, they didn't join. We went to Lagos to meet with Tinubu. At the time, they were not interested, but finally they were convinced. Then it became ANPP and the CPC. In order to add more to the northern interest, we insisted that CPC would join. It took time. In fact, we begged them to join. ANPP begged them to join, and finally they joined. And the party position then were shared equitably. ACN that came with 6 governors was given the interim national chairman. ANPP that came with 3 governors was given the position of interim national secretary. And the CPC was given the position of national, let me remember again, was given National Working Committee position. That's what I wanted. Then DPP that didn't come with any governor was given the position of interim national auditor.
All right.
And so and then ABGA was given the position of interim national organizing secretary.
Yeah, because I wanted to mention ABGA because we sometimes when we have this conversation, ANPP is not remembered in the conversation. People talk more about the new PDP that came in with governors, Atiku leading the front.
No, Atiku came when they has already been formed. Atiku didn't join at the time of Maja. Atiku came in when the certificates of ANPP, CPC, and ACN had been relinquished at the INEC. So they were just joiners. They were not the that's why I say legacy parties.
Legacy parties, yeah. Okay, so Prof, let's talk about the fact that it's people like the comments you've made around positions being shared. So are we saying that in the APC we have positions being shared to people based on the group that they were coming from? Maybe CPC have like a faction, the ANPP faction.
Block.
Okay, so
it's not faction.
You correct me when you are making the statement.
Yes.
So let me just, because to some Nigerians that's what it seems like when they say the block. It looks as if we are talking about faction. Do we have that when the APC is mentioned, there are factions that maybe have meetings before meetings? Can you walk us through how it's done? Well,
at the beginning, what angered most of our leaders, especially Shakarao,
Ibrahim Shakarao,
His Excellency, was that what we agreed at the time of margin wasn't what he was seeing.
What was agreed, sir?
How other positions, Buhari Buhari had already said he wasn't interested in running for
in 2011.
Yes, in running for president. Shakara showed interest and thought he would have the ticket. What happened at last? From nowhere, Buhari was brought out to run, and this angered Shakarawo. He left the APC and joined PDP and was immediately made a minister. This shows you the kind of stuff we have. People with integrity. And Ahmadu Sharif, the then former governor of Brazil and former senator, left APC and joined PDP, and who was made the national chairman of PDP. And some of our leaders were not happy with the turn of events after merger.
Right. So I've heard, when I read the letter, I saw a comment that was said, if the presidency does not look into some of the demands that you've placed about the vice presidential candidate in 2027 being chosen from the ANPP bloc, that you may consider your political future somewhere. You'd like to walk us through what are the options you have at this moment?
Yeah, you see, we place that before Mr. President, and we believe that he will call us. There are some internal mechanisms in the party that can resolve all this matter. It's just like a father and a son fighting. Quarreling. The son will say, no, is this way, and finally the father will say, okay. What are your grievances? Let me look into your grievances. Let me tell you, any person in the ANPP block who leaves APC, I think may be making a mistake, because this is a house we built. How can you build you have a very beautiful house here, and you, just because some people were not treating you well, and you abandon the house? No, APC is the house we built. NPP built it, followed in building, and we are not going anywhere.
But you highlighted in your letter, Prof, that you may be forced to seek your political future somewhere. That's in the letter that I read. So I wanted to know maybe where the political future, are you going to the Labour Party? Are there consideration, even the coalition? Is that something you are considering if the presidency fails?
Yeah, it's ANPP bloc is not one person. We have from ward, local government, and state and national, all our former officers are still intact. You can't believe, and that will meet. What we now want to do, if we wait for the presidency and they didn't do anything, we'll go back to them and report to them and start holding our meetings. And it is that majority that tell us what else to do.
All right. Okay, so that's clear. Let's talk about the fact that you are in the APC now, and it seems you're still thinking about where you are coming from. Is it fair to the APC when we have the ANPP bloc still thinking about some interest around that circle, and the CPC bloc may also be having this feeling of recent? We've heard some people, even though not members of the APC, say the North has not been treated fairly, and we keep having how I thought with the major everybody decided to be one, and there's no consideration for blocks and sentiments based on where we are coming and the work we've done, and everybody's one party. Would you like to talk to that, Prof?
Let me liken it to marriage. And when you go before a priest and say, I do, and finally the priest will say, people put together by God, no one should put asunder. Am I not correct? So it's a marriage between three political parties. It's like you kill a cow. Equity demands that to be shared into three. You have taken, this person is taken, this person is supposed to be taken. And our demand is from our investment, the dividends of our investments. What is our own in APC?
But your former national chairman was a minister for a long time in the former cabinet, immediate past administration.
Yeah, when they say minister is not it is not really appointment, because it's statutory that every state must have a minister. It's statutory that every state. After all, there were no two ministers from Imo State, no two ministers from every state must have a minister. So let's not put that ministerial position apart. There are over 1,000 positions in the presidency. How many we are given to the ANPP bloc? And this is what I was one of those that helped, that participated in the process that led to APC. My brother, I'm 65 years old now. How many national positions? Which have not gotten any national position. There are many of us. There's the people who started even ANPP in those days in Imo State. I come from Imo State. I've served as a commissioner and all that. Yeah. In Imo State, like Barasima Ibeduro, who started then, which has he been given a national position? Fega from Kano State, who was the national legal advisor, in fact, who drafted most of the legal documents. Was he given? Has he been? Many of us, Barasa Silva. Okay.
So which of the bloc is being favored by the APC? Which of the bloc is favored by the APC?
When Buhari was the president, he favored most of CPC and some ACN. In fact, CPC and ACN got majority of the plum jobs. Plum, when I say plum appointment, not putting you as a member of a board, but chairmanship of the boards were gotten by all these people. So now CPC has ruled for 8 years. ACN is on duty now, ruling, and we do hope and we do believe that Tinubu is going to win the 27th election. And by 2031, we pleaded, if you read my text very well, we pleaded that power should be shifted to ANPP for justice and equity to reign.
All right, so there's a conversation around a coalition, the ADC, African Democratic Congress, where we see being spearheaded by former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, Nasir El-Rufai, former governor, is there Rotimi Amechi, former governor of Rivers State. If the ANPP bloc is being approached by this coalition at this moment, is that a thought the ANPP bloc in the APC might be considering?
We have never considered joining any party. We have never considered. And it's a new party. ADC, though old, but revived by some people. And let me tell you, I don't think they will beat APC. I don't think so.
So you're still believing in the APC, but you later say that you may be seeking political solutions somewhere.
Yeah, let me liken it to your father's house and he drives you out during the rain. And your neighbor asks you to come over and have a shelter. Will you like to be in the rain and the rain will be beating you? No, nah. You will go to your neighbor's house and probably your father may have a change of heart and ask you to come back and come to your house. All
right, so Prof, before we leave in 30 seconds, I'd like that you talk about the fact that as the APC, which you were a member when it was formed, has it been able to deliver dividends of democracy? Because I remember in 2013, for those of you who led the major, you promised Nigeria with the coming of the APC will come change, will come transformation. In these years, we've had about 10 years now of the APC leading in Nigeria. Can you say in 30 seconds, Prof, that the APC have delivered the dividends, which you went to Imo to campaign and tell people vote the APC, have they been able to deliver that dividends of democracy to Nigeria?
Thank you. When you say dividends, dividends of democracy, some have been delivered. Even though we had some issues during the time of the late president, 8 years of his rule, which the present president is trying to put things in order. And one of the dividends is providing food and all that to Nigerians.
So the APC is providing food to Nigerians?
The APC is making every effort. Presently, it's a starvation.
Thank you, Prof.
You're talking about starvation.
We ran out of time. Thank you so much, Prof. All right, people, and that's the much we can take on today's edition of Big Talk. And we had Professor Vitalis Ajumbe, former Imo State Commissioner for Information, Tourism, and Public Utilities, an APC chieftain, and the leader of the ANPP bloc in the APC. Thank you so much, Prof, for coming to our studio, and we hope that in due course we'll have this conversation around nation building. And that's the much we can take. Earlier on the program, we had joining us live in the studio, we had Mr. Clemens, who is the leader of the Akwa Ibom community, the youth community in Abuja, as we talked about youth in nation building. My name is Ubong Osoro, and that's the much we can take for today's edition. Remember that Global TV is live on DSTV channels 365 and Star Times channels 276. And Big Talk comes your way every weekday from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Do have for yourself a wonderful night.